We are back for our week number 11 NFL predictions here on the channel. We've got 30 teams playing this week, with the two teams off being the Indianapolis Colts and the New Orleans Saints. Last week, a monster victory for the Colts and just a monster effort out of Jonathan Taylor. The Colts look legit. I mean, they've been legit all year long. They will continue to be. I think the AFC is still going to go through Lucas Oil Stadium come January. And the New Orleans Saints, I mean, we told you they were going to cover against the Panthers. Tyler Shuck and the guys over there. I still don't think the Saints are very good. I just don't think the Panthers are good either. That's why we took the Saints spread, and it cashed. So those teams are off this week. The other 30 teams, though, playing this week here in the National Football League. And folks, before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more weekly NFL predictions here on the channel. On Saturday, we will have our best bets early in the day at noon, and then at 5 o'clock Pacific, we will have our 5 best player props for week number 11 of the NFL season as well. Yesterday, we posted our college football, or 2 days ago, we posted it was yesterday. Posted our college football predictions for week number 12. That's 4 hours and 20 minutes of college football predictions. You're not going to want to miss that. Linked in the description down below. Daily NBA and college basketball best bets here on the channel. UFC predictions also on the channel as well. Okay, on to the first of our 15 games this week in the National Football League. First up, Thursday Night Football. We've got a matchup here in Foxborough between the New England Patriots and the New York Jets. So, I mean, the Jets continue to win, kind of. They've now won back-to-back games, beating the Cincinnati Bengals and beating the Cleveland Browns. I mean, we know the Browns are absolutely atrocious, but you know what? Let's keep throwing Dylan Gabriel out there. Let's keep doing it. Whatever. More on the Browns later. Jets and Patriots. Jets coming off back-to-back victories. The Patriots have now won 7 in a row, and it needs to be said, Drake May is the MVP. I said that after last week. I'll say it again this week. I don't know who can win it other than him. The one guy I'd argue would be Jonathan Taylor, and I would completely agree with Jonathan Taylor winning the MVP. We all know they're not giving it to a running back. They haven't given it to a running back since Sean Alexander, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not going to go to JT, even though it should go to JT. If you're going to give it to a quarterback, though, the best quarterback in football this year has been Drake May. I get Matthew Stafford, too, and I honestly wouldn't mind Matthew Stafford. To me, though, it is Drake May right now. What the Patriots are doing is absurd. They went to Tampa Bay and beat the Buccaneers, beat a good Buccaneers team. Some of the throws Drake May makes in that game, crazy stuff. New England, again, winners of 7 out of their last 7. How does this team fare in the playoffs? I still don't know. I mean, the way the Bills are playing, it looks like New England actually might win the AFC East, which is crazy. We'll see, though. Again, New England, they're not tested in the playoffs just yet. We have not seen Drake May in January. We shall see again what happens once we get there. But for sure, New England is going to go to the postseason, and it looks like to me they are going to reclaim the AFCs for the very first time since 2019. In this game, they should blow out the Jets. I mean, I get it. The Jets have just won a game. They won back-to-back. They lucked out against a horrible Cincinnati Bengals defense, and they beat the Cleveland Browns, who have no threat of anything on offense. Okay? I don't know why Dylan Gabriel is still a starting quarterback in the NFL. It doesn't make sense to me. Obviously, they don't want Shedeur Sanders, so they're just waiting at this point for Deshaun Watson. But the Jets win that game. Breece Hall is another monster game. They decided to keep Breece Hall for some reason, and I think Breece Hall is just going to continue to put up monster numbers for the rest of the season. Justin Fields, I guess, is QB1 in New York. Obviously, this is not a long-term fit. I mean, the Jets could win out and go 10-7, and Justin Fields still wouldn't be the quarterback next year. They probably would then. But still, guys, Justin Fields had 54 passing yards last week against the Browns. Special teams obviously won them that game. Justin Fields had a 42-yard screen pass to Breece Hall, which if they didn't complete, Justin Fields would have had 12 yards passing this game. Yeah. Kind of goes to show where the Jets are at. Again, they played well on special teams and took advantage of a miscoached or poorly coached Browns team. How does Stefanski still have a job? I don't know. The New England Patriots are going to run right through the New York Jets. The Patriots are actually coached well, and they have a quarterback in Drake May, obviously, who's doing quite a lot right now. Travion Henderson, still now the number 1 running back with Ramondre Stevenson's injury, and Ramondre's still out this week. I don't know why they haven't just committed to Travion being the number 1 running back permanently, because he is the best running back on their roster. How about Stephon Diggs? Another big day in Tampa. Touchdown grab. Saves Mike Vrabel's ass at the end of the first half. Give me the New England Patriots at home. They should dominate the New York Jets. The line is 12.5 points. That is not enough. The Patriots are going to blow out the Jets here. Again, winning football is back in Foxborough. It's the culture that has already been set. And yeah, we're getting into another, I don't want to say we're getting into another dynasty because they're not that good, but they're playing great football and they're going to be ruling the AFC East again in 2025. So give me the Patriots minus 12.5 at home against the Jets. Next up, we go to the Berlin game. Ooh, wow. This is going to be some German people, or sorry, not Berlin, excuse me, oh my goodness, Spain. This is the first ever game in Spain. So this is going to be the first ever game some people in Spain have ever watched live and ever watched in person. So they're going to be human beings who have never been to a football game before and ever watched a football game before, and they're going to watch the Washington Commanders play the Miami Dolphins. Oh my goodness. Cool. I think the Dolphins win, actually. Look at the rosters and who's playing and whatnot. I think Miami gets it. It was said that Terry McLaurin is going to Spain, yet he's not going to play. Sure, I guess he just wants the free trip out to Madrid. I mean, I'd take it too, honestly. If I was playing on a 3-7 football team that has no, desire of winning right now. Jaden Daniels, the injury's not as bad as initially thought. Obviously, Daniels is not going to be back just yet. It really comes into question then, do you want to play Jaden Daniels towards the end of the year? I mean, I guess they have a loaded schedule, and do you want to risk him getting injured, or do you just want to throw in the towel and get ready for 2026? I assume they're going to play Daniels towards the end of the year, and they definitely want to cash in on the Christmas game that they have against the Cowboys and play Jaden Daniels there. We shall see, but obviously this will be the Marcus Mariota quarterback to Commanders this week. Obviously, Mariota got some praise for the president last week in the commentary booth. Marcus Mariota has done a good job. They've won some games with Mariota. I guess the president was watching the Raiders game, and yeah, sure. Anyways, Mariota, I don't think they're going to be able to go to Miami and win. Spain, excuse me. I think the Dolphins, oddly enough, are playing decent football right now. Tua and the guys go out and beat the Bills on Sunday. Weird, they look like crap against the Ravens, and somehow they beat Buffalo, which just, I don't know, make it make sense. One time, Devon Achane, 174 yards on the ground. It's not like Tua had a great game. It's just the Bills play like crap. Their offense could not move the ball at all, and Miami easily won the game. So Miami's now been a winner in 2 out of their last 3. They are 3-7, and they have a chance, guys. If the Dolphins can do what they're supposed to do here, guys, Miami's going to be 6-7. They're going to win 3 straight games. They're going to beat Washington. They should beat New Orleans at home, and they should go to New York and beat the Jets. Then they're 6-7, and they're probably not going to go anywhere because 10-7's playoffs, obviously, and they're not going to beat Pittsburgh on the road. They probably won't beat Cincinnati. They won't beat Tampa, nor will they beat New England. But there's some confidence that can be built right now in the Dolphins. Looking at a record, okay, we're kind of back in it, at least if you can win your next 3 games. And this is the first step towards that. Washington is very injured. Their defense sucks. Deron Payne has been suspended for punching Amon-Ra St. Brown. Just, punching a guy with the helmet on might be the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And, so many guys attempt it. It's just they have a helmet on for a reason. If you can, whatever, man. It doesn't make sense to me. Washington's just so banged up, and on top of that, again, you add the Deron Payne suspension, which the Fox broadcast brought up last week, and it's very true. He's one of your veteran guys. He's one of your guys that are supposed to, they're supposed to be level-headed throughout the entire game. They're supposed to keep, the rookies and young players in check, and yet your vets are getting suspended and getting ejected from games. That's just unacceptable. I'm taking the Miami Dolphins here. I believe Miami can win this game in Madrid. It's a weird spot for the fans. I mean, Germany last week just got the Colts, and they got to watch Jonathan Taylor run for 250 yards and the Colts win in overtime, and the Spanish fans get Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins. If I can say one thing about Miami, though, they are playing slightly better. I would not say it's because of Tua. I wouldn't. They're playing better ball. They beat the Falcons. They beat the Buffalo Bills. Again, the Bills game just seems like a weird outlier, but I don't know. The Buffalo offense, you go from beating Kansas City to losing to Miami. I don't know what to make of the Bills right now. It is a confusing bunch. I'm going with the Miami Dolphins I keep thinking they're at home, in Madrid to beat the Washington Commanders. Washington is too injured for my liking, and the Dolphins actually have some momentum put together right now. So I'm going to take the Dolphins to win this game in Spain, giving Miami -2.5. Would I bet on it? Go check our best bets later in the week, but I'll tell you this, no. I would not touch this game at all. Just sleep in and get ready for the afternoon games and the morning games, wherever you live. Anyways, on now to our 3rd game of the week. Let's go to Atlanta, Georgia, as we've got the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Carolina Panthers. Yes, I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons. Yep. I pick against Atlanta quite a bit. I think the Panthers' little magic run is over. They started the year 5-4. They went to Green Bay and won, which I think should tell us how good Green Bay is or how not good the Packers are. And then Carolina last week, predictive. I mean, I thought they were still going to beat the Saints. I thought the game was going to be extremely close. And no, the Panthers scored 7 points. They scored 7 points against the New Orleans Saints. And the Saints beat them 17-7. Tyler Shuck's first ever victory as a starting quarterback in the National Football League. The Panthers come crashing right back down to earth. Don't forget, guys, this team, again, was 5-4, and Panthers fans on Twitter were saying, oh my goodness, we're going to be a wild card this year. Yet, no. The NFC South is the worst division in the National Football League other than their division leader. The Buccaneers are obviously going to win the NFC South, and Tampa could legitimately go 9-8 and still win this division. It is atrocious. This is going to be another NFC South parity matchup where Falcons, who are 3-6, are going to beat the 5-5 Carolina Panthers. And the Bucs could lose again this week. We'll get to them in a second. And they still have over 2 games in control of the NFC South. I don't care. That's fine. The Bucs are by far the best team and the most entertaining team. Guys, the Falcons are not good either. Let's clarify this right now. Atlanta's been losers in 4 out of their last 4 games. Losing that game, albeit a competitive game, in Germany against... Yes, Germany. I keep getting Germany and Spain mixed up. In Germany against the Indianapolis Colts, losing overtime. They held their own, obviously, but they could not contain Jonathan Taylor. They gave Daniel Jones hell. I'll give you that. They gave Indiana Jones some problems, but the Colts wound up winning that game. I think that's the right English there. They found a way to win. Atlanta lost the week before New England because Romo missed an extra point. Lose to Miami 34-10, and they lost on Sunday night against the San Francisco 49ers. This team was 3-2 at one point. Now you're 3-6, and I mean, is this core ever going to win? The answer to that question is no. Nothing against Michael Penix, nothing against Bijan Robinson. The team's just not good enough. They are a 3-6 team, and I thought, again, Atlanta is supposed to win the NFC South every single year. Look at where they're at every single year. They're going to beat the Panthers because Carolina's going to fall off a cliff after that one loss. They built the most momentum they will ever have after that win against Green Bay on the road. Rico Dowdle, again, killing it. New Orleans found a way to stop Dowdle and put the ball in Bryce Young's hands. If you can take the ball out of Rico Dowdle's hands and say, okay, Bryce Young, you need to beat us, that's not going to happen. I'm sorry, Bryce Young's not good enough to just beat you. He's a good complementary quarterback. When you have a really good run game and you need Bryce Young to make throws, again, on a play action, or, you don't need Bryce Young to take over. You just need him to be a good enough quarterback to win, sure. But when Bryce Young needs to take over and Bryce Young needs to be, again, an exceptional player, that is the lone reason his team wins the football game. Unfortunately, Bryce Young's not good enough to do that. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. So they need Rico Dowdle to be huge on the ground. They did beat Atlanta the first time around in Carolina. The Falcons played such a horrible football game. And sure, we see that a lot out of Atlanta because they absolutely suck. But games in Atlanta this time, Carolina coming off that demoralizing loss against New Orleans. Guys, if they had beaten the Saints, they would be 6-4. And we would actually be talking, okay, Panthers are kind of involved in the playoff race. 6-4 would put them tied for the first team out, which with the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, they've lost all their momentum. They're done this season. I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons at home. I am not wowed at all by anything the Falcons have except for Bijan Robinson, but they should win this game at home. The Panthers, again, I believe their season is over, just like how I thought the Falcons season was over as soon as they lost the first game of the year. So both teams aren't very good. The Falcons are slightly better. I'm going to take Atlanta at home. They were, again, in all fairness to them, they just played the 2 best teams in the AFC, and they lost by 1 point, and they lost in overtime in back-to-back weeks. So give me Atlanta returning home for the first time in about 3 or 4 weeks. They will beat the Carolina Panthers, and they will cover the spread as well. Give me Atlanta -3 at home against the Carolina Panthers. Next up, we go to Orchard Park, as we've got the Buffalo Bills and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh, man. I'm going to take Tampa on the spread. I'm going to take Buffalo to win. Would I bet it? I don't know. I like Tampa, and if you've watched the videos every single week, you know how much I like Tampa. I was the biggest driver of the Baker Mayfield MVP campaign earlier in the year, and I absolutely love the guy. It's not his fault right now. It's just the team is still so banged up. I think Tampa is going to become very dangerous in the playoffs because they are holding their own, and, okay, we know where Tampa's going to be, guys. They're going to be back in their 4 seed like they are every single year. Okay, they're going to be a 4 seed, and they're going to have to take on the best team out of the NFC West. So they're probably going to get, my guess will be the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are going to go to Tampa first round of the playoffs. And that is a very winnable game for the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers will probably be 10-7, let's guess. They're 6-3 right now. They might finish 11-6. Let's see. Buffalo loss, LA loss. They should win out. Okay, they actually might be 12-5. Yeah, Tampa's going to be 12-5. That actually might score them the 3 seed. No, they're not going to finish a better record than the Lions, Seahawks / Rams, or Eagles. They're probably going to be a 12-5 4 seed, which is okay. But they're going to be a team that's going to be gaining momentum at the end of the season. They're going to get Mike Evans back at the end of the year for the playoffs. You're going to get Bucky Irving back in a couple weeks. I mean, I thought Bucky and Godwin were going to be back right now. They're still not. They're both doubtful this week. They're definitely not playing. Maybe they come back for Sunday night next week in LA. My guess, honestly, is going to be they're not going to return until November 30th at home against the Arizona Cardinals. That's my guess. Maybe they come back for Sunday night. I know Bucky and Godwin were both present at walkthroughs today. They're both not playing. They're doubtful. I highly doubt that tag switches this week. They still got a bunch of injuries on the offensive line, a bunch of injuries on the defense. It sucks. And Baker, again, was holding it together at the beginning of the season. They were winning all these one-score games. Still beat Seattle with all the injuries, in all fairness. I don't think they can beat the Bills. Now, again, I think the winner is a coin toss. So honestly, I wouldn't say confidently at all the Bills win. I think the Bucs will cover. Look at what Buffalo just did last week. Now, don't get me wrong. They're going to shred this Bucs defense. This Bucs defense right now is not very good. They could not get Drake May off the field on third down. And again, Drake May's the MVP right now. Drake May's the best quarterback in the National Football League currently. So there's no shame in that. But I just don't trust the secondary. I've never trusted the Tampa Bay secondary. I love what... I don't love what Bulls does all the time. I like the pass rush. I know, again, they get to the quarterback in a hurry every single game. And that's just, again, the Todd Bowles philosophy. But in terms of your secondary in Tampa, yeah, it's always been weak. And they rely on Baker to score 1 million points in the offense to just come through every single week for them to win. I don't know. Again, you're taking a team from Tampa, sunny Florida. It's hot still in the winter. And you're taking them all the way to freezing cold Buffalo. I don't know what temperature it's going to be. I'm going to check right now in Buffalo on Sunday, but I can assume it's going to be freezing cold. So they missed the snow by one day. It's going to snow on Monday. On Sunday, it's going to be time to start at 39 degrees in Buffalo, New York. For reference, let's check how hot it is right now in Tampa. So, or I guess on Sunday, they play the game at the same time. It'd be 80 degrees in Tampa Bay. Yeah, you're cutting the temperature in half by going to Buffalo. I don't love that. I think, Tampa is a much better warm weather team. Obviously, they don't play in the snow. They don't play in the cold ever because they play in the NFC South. And really, again, the only time they get an opportunity to play in an environment like this is legitimately this scenario. They play the East in the either NFC or AFC on the road in November. Luckily for them, later in the year, they have lucked into playing the Miami Dolphins in late December, so they don't have to go to New England or they don't gotta have to go to the Meadowlands. I just think in a close game, Buffalo can probably pull it out, but I'm not impressed at all by the Bills. I'm actually very disappointed in the Buffalo Bills. What the hell was last week? I mean, I'm supposed to believe this is the year you actually beat Mahomes in the playoffs. Now, will Mahomes get there this year? I don't know. Playoffs, yes. AFC Championship game, I don't know. But yeah, a disgusting performance against Miami. Unbelievable performance. I still think they win. I was so, again, just dumbfounded by that result. I think Tampa can cover. I think Buffalo wins. Would I bet it at all? Probably not. Just stay away from this game. I'm going to take Buffalo with the win, but Tampa to cover. Next up, we move on to an AFC South matchup, a killer matchup between the Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans. Wow, I'm so excited for this one. The cheapest ticket to get into Nissan Stadium for this game, I kid you not, is $10. Are we serious? Wow. $10? Holy crap. And to think, if I want to go to a football game near me, I got to pay $150 to watch the San Francisco 49ers play the Arizona Cardinals or some crappy matchup like that. Anyways, I think Tennessee covers. I think they do. Houston last week, I know they pulled off that miracle comeback. All right. Unbelievable. A, Jacksonville's defense played like crap at the end of the game. B, their offense could not get the ball moving. And C, every little call went the Texans' way. Guys, Jacksonville they get Jacksonville a holding call on that final drive where Lawrence gets him into field range for Cam Little. They call it holding. The Texans have a 3rd and 10 bull crap at the end of the game, 3rd and goal, 3rd and long PI call that made no sense. And sure, Davis Mills put the team on his back and ran for a 14-yard touchdown to win the game, which was ridiculous. I am still adamant on the fact that the Texans aren't that good. Now, the Texans actually have life. They're 4-5. They win this game, which they will. Again, I just think Tennessee's going to keep it close. They win this game, they're 5-5. And then Houston's kind of back in the playoff hunt. They're not going to get in, okay? I still believe Jacksonville, even with their injuries, is better than Houston. Now, do I think either of those teams are going to make the playoffs? Unfortunately, no, okay? We kind of know that 7-team field. Colts, Broncos, Patriots, Steelers/Ravens, probably Ravens, Chargers, Bills, Chiefs. That's the 7-team window. I'm sorry. I like the Jags. I'm a big Trevor Lawrence guy. Unfortunately, I cannot, with a straight face, tell you the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to make the playoffs. Okay, those are your 7 teams. The only changing thing in that is who wins the South between the North, between the Ravens and the Saints. NFC gets more complicated. More on that later. This game, though, I think the Titans can cover. Guys, the Titans just played the Chargers, only lost by 7 points. I get it. Chargers on the road, cross country have always been difficult. Let's say that. It's just, I don't know. The Texans, they beat Tennessee the first time around 26-0, but you're going to get CJ Stroud back maybe. Again, he's coming back from concussion protocol. I don't really think it matters between him and Davis Mills. I thought Mills, again, played like crap in the first half, played phenomenally in the second half, so that's just football, I guess. I don't really think, and this is going to sound crazy, I don't think there's much of a difference between Davis Mills and CJ Stroud. I'm sorry. I think Stroud is slightly better, but watching Davis Mills play in the second half and the run that he made, and the fact that he got his team back in the football game and won the game for his football team, I can't just say straight up, oh, look how much better Stroud is than Mills. He is better. Is he much better though? I don't think so, honestly. This Houston team, they're okay. I'm not too impressed. I've never been impressed with the Texans this year. Tennessee, this team is waiting for next year. They've won one game all year long, and they would be 0-9 if Amari DiMercado didn't drop a football at the goal line to basically sink in the dagger for Arizona back earlier in the year. The Titans, again, are still figuring it out with Cam Ward and Ridley and Aomanor and DK. I'm going to go Tennessee to cover. I think Houston easily wins. Is it my favorite game of the week? Absolutely not. I will pay zero attention to this football game, or I guess I'll watch it when it pops up on Red Zone. Shout out to Woody Marks, playing good football. It's one of my fantasy running backs. And again, a great come-from-behind victory for Houston. Yes, I guess they're kind of in the wild card race. Can you confidently say this team's going to overtake Buffalo, Kansas City, or Los Angeles for a wild card? Hell no. Give me Texans to win, Titans to cover. I do not care about that game. I'm sorry. Up next to America's Game of the Week. Really? This is America's Game of the Week. The Seahawks and Rams play this week. What? I mean, I get it. They don't want to go Brady on back-to-back games with Stafford, but seriously, because he won the LFG player, but really? Okay. Vikings-Bears is the Fox feature game this week. Awesome. Again, I don't get that. Am I crazy for kind of buying on the Bears right now? I'm gonna buy in a little bit on the Bears. Give me Chicago to win on the road. Give me Chicago to win on the road in Minnesota. So 9 last week doesn't play that well for Minnesota. The offense would get into plus territory. They'd stall out. They just, struggled to make that big play. And obviously Baltimore walks into Minnesota and wins the game. The Vikings are now 4-5, and the Chicago Bears are a 6-3 football team who have now won 6 out their last 7 games. Holy crap. Lost back-to-back to start the year to Minnesota. And a game, by the way, in Chicago, Monday Night Football to start the year, the Bears had. They had that game won, and they let J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings storm back and win on opening night. They obviously then got blown out in Detroit, but then victories over the Cowboys, Raiders, Commanders, Saints, lost the Ravens, wins in Cincinnati, and then at home last week against the New York Giants in a comeback effort. If Jackson Dart plays the entire football game and the Giants get a better punt, I don't know who wins that game. Whatever. Bears now go on the road to Minnesota. It's time I start buying in a little bit to Ben Johnson and what the Bears are doing. Okay? I was very critical at the beginning of the season, and I don't think this team's gonna make the playoffs. I know they're gonna be 7-3 after this week. I do believe that the 49ers are probably gonna find a way in still. Okay? I think the 7-team window, the 7-team bracket is going to, this in no order, is going to consist of Philadelphia, Detroit, Seattle, Tampa, Rams, Packers, Niners. There is a chance I believe the Packers can fall out of that, and the Packers are playing god-awful football right now. They can't score. Is Jordan Love really their guy? The answer to that question is no, I think. Whatever, more on that later with the Packers, but the Bears are going to put themselves in a great spot for now. It's just their schedule at the end of the year gets difficult. All right, they got the Steelers next week, then they go to Philly, to Green Bay again, to San Francisco, and Lions. The Browns are in there too, but I didn't want to count the automatic win. There's going to be some tough games, but right now they are playing good football, and this is a key game for them this season, right? Caleb's playing okay. I think the run game has been excellent, obviously, with Monengai, and then Swift comes back last week. Again, I could argue, and I think I would argue, that Kyle Monengai maybe should be the starting running back for this football team, but that's neither here or there. I watched Minnesota. J.J. McCarthy, I still think is going to be a great talent. I think he's going to be a very good NFL quarterback for a very long time. I don't know, though, right now. Okay, I don't know about this first year for McCarthy. Yeah, they beat the Lions. They looked really good in that game, and obviously Detroit did not play up to their standards. The loss against Baltimore last week sucked. It was a bad loss. It was a bad loss. You're taking on a Ravens team. Again, that I know the record is deceiving, obviously, but the Vikings don't establish a run game because they don't have a run game. Their best runner is J.J. McCarthy. McCarthy, again, he will be good in the National Football League, I believe. But he's got all this talent around him, and they're losing games to the Ravens, and they're only scoring 19 points. McCarthy throws 2 picks, 2 bad picks, and I think the Bears are going to win this game on the road. +3, I think it's a great spot for them. Again, Chicago's playing really good ball. This is their first big road test, though. All right, they have not beaten really a good team all year long. They've beaten 6 teams that are not going to be in the playoffs. Whatever we think about the Bengals, I don't know. This is a game they have to go out and win. Big game this season to go to 7-3. I believe the Chicago Bears are going to get it done. Give me Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson walking to Minneapolis and beating the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going a Bears money line +135 up in Minneapolis. Next up, we go on to East Rutherford, New Jersey for the New York Giants and the Green Bay Packers. So this morning it has been said, Jameis Winston is the starting quarterback this week of the New York Giants. Oh my goodness. I mean, how bad does it get for Russell Wilson? I was under the assumption he was going to start this week. When I made the graphic, I went +7. I was like, you know what? I guess I'll still take the Giants with Russ. I guess. Here we go. I'm going to take him now at Jameis. What can we expect out of Winston? Okay, he's going to throw a couple picks. He's going to sling it the entire game. But you know what? Maybe that's what the Giants need. You know, instead of Russ, guys, it is so crazy, Russell Wilson, and there's talks about it now, and I think they're kind of valid. Has Russell Wilson played his way out of the Hall of Fame? Maybe. He was a starting quarterback to start the year, and, you know, maybe the season changes if after the touchdown that Russ hit at the end of the Cowboys game in regulation to, I believe it definitely was Malik Neighbors, if that moonball to Neighbors is the game-winning touchdown and the Cowboys don't get into field goal range with Aubrey and the game doesn't go to overtime and the Giants, you know, actually win that game, maybe the Russ era goes different, and maybe he is starting halfway through the year. Maybe there's a different perception around Russell Wilson. Guys, Russell Wilson is never getting a starting job for the rest of his career. He is a permanent backup now, and really, though, I mean, is any team going to, I mean, does Russ actually want to continue to play football after this season? He's 36. They have gone from him being the quarterback 1 to quarterback 3. Yeah, he can be a helpful backup in this league, but is Russell Wilson really that type of guy to be a backup in the National Football League? I don't think he is. Guys, Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl. He was All-Pro, 10-time Pro Bowler. He was a Pro Bowler last season, which is kind of crazy, but again, they kind of just give Pro Bowls to anybody. And now here you go, you can't start for the Giants, even with Jackson Dart injured. They're starting Jameis Winston over Russell Wilson. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, can you pin the loss on Russ last week? No, not really. Yeah, he doesn't play well, but I mean, come on. The defense can't get a stop. Their punter, you know, shanks a punt. Come on now. What I am going to say about this game, though, is, yeah, the Giants are covering. They have a chance to win. I know, again, no Scatterboo, no Dart, whatever. Jameis is going to sling it the entire game. They actually have a kicker now, by the way. They don't have that Irish dude anymore. They don't have Graham Gano. Younghoe Koo is the new permanent kicker for the New York Giants. Get him a number that's not 37, though, please. I think that's disgusting. It just looks ugly. But Jameis is playing. That means the Giants are going to probably stay in this game, guys. Because with the Packers, what you get out of Jameis Winston is that, okay, your offense all of a sudden is going to be transformed. Okay, you have to switch to a pass-first, approach. Yes, you have to expect the interception out of Winston, but now you know, okay, we're going to put up points. Yes, he's going to turn the ball over, but at the same time, he's going to have long drives and he's going to complete balls. Okay, the Green Bay Packers have struggled to score now in 8 straight quarters. And now they have to go play a team like the Giants, who, again, on paper, not the best offense, but now a different stylistic matchup. You were thinking, okay, Jackson Dart, run heavy, and now you have Jameis, who's probably going to throw over 300-plus yards this week, and we'll see how many points they can put up. Can Green Bay match that? The answer to that question is no. Yeah, again, you can get to the quarterback, Micah Parsons. Your defense has been good the last couple of weeks. You only give up 10 points to Philadelphia, 16 points to Carolina. You still lost both those games. If I can guarantee you anything about a Jameis Winston-led football team is that they're going to score. I think the Packers might lose. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that, but +7 feels fairly good here. Don't forget the last time the Packers played a backup quarterback. They didn't lose to the Bengals, but they almost lost to the Bengals. They played Joe Flacco, lost in Cleveland. I know Flacco was the starter to start the year, but you get what I mean, right? This team can lose games like this. And just the way they're playing right now, I am so down on the Packers. They looked great to start the season. There's a chance the Packers play themselves out of the playoffs this year. And this is not an easy game. Winston's first start, and you got to go to East Rutherford to play this one. I don't like it at all for the Packers. I'm taking the New York Football Giants to win the game. Sorry, to cover. Win the games in. It's possible, but I'm taking +7 for the Giants at home to cover against the Green Bay Packers. Next up, we move on to an AFC North game, Cincinnati Bengals, Pittsburgh Steelers. Guys, there is a newfound confidence, at least, with the Cincinnati Bengals going into this week. There's optimism now with Cincinnati. We're going to be a playoff team. We still have a chance. 9-8, 10-7 can get us in. I guess they still have Baltimore twice. And if they can beat the Ravens both times this year, there's a very good chance actually the Bengals can get in the playoffs. But you know what? It starts right now. I cannot stress to you how big of a game this is for the Bengals right now. They have to beat the Steelers. Have to. Especially a Steelers team that has now lost to the Chargers last week. Yes, they beat the Colts in between, losing to the Bengals the first time, the Packers, and then obviously the Chargers. But it's a very beatable Pittsburgh team. Now, if there's a defense that the Steelers can break through against, it obviously is the Cincinnati Bengals, the worst defense in the National Football League. So you're going to see, again, an improved Pittsburgh offense this week. But my goodness, they were bad offensively last week against the Chargers. Aaron Rodgers is getting hit way too much. Rodgers throws a couple interceptions. Yikes, yikes, yikes all around. And the Chargers are really good. I'm not going to deny that. I think that team's phenomenal. I think that there's a chance they could win the AFC West. We shall see. The Bengals have already done it before. I don't like the Pittsburgh defense. I know they played well against Indianapolis, but against Flacco, against Jamar and T, they've done it before. And T. Higgins, well, Jamar Chase said it, these corners, again, this is why they brought him back. This is what he's getting paid to do, is win big-time matchups against corners like Jalen Ramsey in Pittsburgh. Okay, well, this is exactly what they're going to do this week. And it's a banged-up Pittsburgh defense. Darius Slay might not be playing this week. They've had to move Jalen Ramsey to safety. It's just like, or he's had to play box safety. They had injuries last week. We'll see what they can do this week. Against a depleted Steelers defense, I think the Bengals are going to win. I think they're going to. We've literally already seen it. And we know that Bengals offense is going to show up. Guys, Joe Flacco threw for a career-high 470 yards against the Chicago Bears, and they lost. They scored 42 points. So, again, if you can count on the Bengals to do anything at score, I don't know if I can rely on the Steelers to score. I don't know. Yeah, it's a bad defense, but can they get going against anybody? Yeah, the game's in Pittsburgh. Well, Flacco's made a career out of beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, Mike Tomlin sees ghosts when he sees Joe Flacco walk onto the field. Yeah, the Bengals are 3-6, but you can make the argument that they can be 9-8, and that might get them in, right? The argument is you beat Pittsburgh, 4-6, probably lose to New England, 4-7, beat Baltimore, 5-7, beat Buffalo. All right, no, that's the other one you lose. 5-8, lose to Buffalo, and then you win out. Baltimore 6-8, and Miami 7-8, Arizona 8-8, Browns 9-8, and that's with Joe Burrow back. Burrow might be back for Thanksgiving. He'll definitely be back for Week 14 on the road in Buffalo against the Bills. I think Flacco can win them 2 out of their next 3. I'll tell you that. And this is one of the games that they are going to win. Again, I would not want to face this offense. Flacco just threw for 470 yards at 40-plus years of age. Can the Steelers match that is the question. The answer to that question, in my opinion, is no. I don't think so. Steelers defense gave up 33 points the first time they played Cincinnati. Flacco had 342 yards. Yes, the game was in Ohio. I really don't think it matters too much. I think the Bengals are going to win this game. I've watched Pittsburgh. The offense looked horrible last week. The run game really couldn't get going, and Rodgers has not looked that good in the last couple weeks. Okay, I know, again, the Steelers want Rodgers to be back. I'm telling you, the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers next season is the quarterback on the other side of the field this week. The quarterback for the Steelers next week will be Joe Flacco, and I feel fairly confident in that, too. I think Flacco's going to finally complete the AFC North gauntlet and go from Ravens, Browns again, and Bengals, Steelers. I think Tomlin's finally going to get matched up with Joe Flacco, and I cannot wait. It's going to be hilarious. But anyways, I'm going to go the Bengals here. I think the future Steelers quarterback next season will beat the Steelers. Plus, 195 for Cincinnati? 5.5 is great, too. I think the Bengals win the game outright, though. I don't think the Steelers they can stop those receivers, obviously, in Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I'm taking the Bengals to win on the road. Next up, our final morning game, we go to Everbank Stadium. The Jacksonville Jaguars take on the Los Angeles Chargers. Unfortunately, I have to jump off the Jaguars bandwagon. Oh, man. All these injuries. Travis Hunter's out for the year. You blow that game against Houston. You've now lost 3 of 4. You almost lost the Raiders last week. And the thing is, they looked fine through 3 quarters against Houston, man. Watching that game, I mean, it's, I thought the game was over. I stopped really paying attention to it. And they were up 29-10 going into the fourth quarter. Houston then scores 26 unanswered with Davis Mills at quarterback. And that's the game. And obviously, right, the fumble recovery touchdown, I mean, whatever, that is what it is. But I mean, unbelievable. They still score 20 unanswered. And then obviously the scoop and score, big man touchdown, whatever. But it doesn't get worse than that. You bring in Jacoby Myers, your team is actually committed to winning. And don't get me wrong, the Jags still control their own destiny to the playoffs. They have the tiebreaker over Kansas City. They're both 5-4 right now. If the playoffs were to start today, Jacksonville would be in over the Chiefs. Can they maintain that? The answer to that question is obviously no. Okay, losing last week is a horrible loss because I thought in the back of my mind, okay, they were going to lose to Los Angeles anyway, but you need to get momentum here with Houston, and if you win this game, okay, well, you can afford to lose another one, and you're still ahead of the Chiefs. And don't get me wrong, the Chiefs have a very difficult matchup this week in Denver, and if the Chiefs lose that game and the Jacksonville Jaguars lose here, the Jags are still in the playoffs at 5-5. And we might get into a situation where the 7th seed in the AFC is going to be really bad, where to the point where maybe Cincinnati can sneak in as a potential wild card. And that's why there's optimism around Houston too. Oh, the Texans might be a wild card team. They're not. Okay. Los Angeles and Jacksonville, though, I think the Chargers easily take care of them. I know the Chargers don't do well with travel. I know the Chargers are going to have to go cross country from California all the way to Jacksonville, Florida. It's a long trip, I understand. I still think they win. This is the much better team right now. And yes, the road trip's going to suck for them, but Los Angeles has won 4 of their last 5, with their only loss being the Indianapolis Colts. And Justin Herbert is a top 5 quarterback in football. Justin Herbert, the carry job Herbert's got for this team right now is still absurd. I know Kamani Vidal is a big part of that win on Sunday Night Football against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And again, Amarion Hampton might be back soon. But Justin Herbert, again, still doing his thing. Big game-winning touchdown, or almost touchdown pass to Ladd McConkey. Again, the game was over by then, but still, again, that was the dagger. And then obviously Kamani Vidal ran in after. But what the Chargers have the luxury of is that they still haven't hit the bye week. They play the Jacksonville this week. I think they're going to win. And they get to go into a Week 12 bye, which is so great for this team going down the stretch of the season. They basically get 2 back-to-back bye weeks because they get the bye week and then they get the Raiders. And then we'll see from there. Again, they have Philadelphia on Monday night, Kansas City on the road, Dallas on the road, Denver on the road. The last couple games are tough, but what I can almost guarantee you is Los Angeles is winning their next 2 games. The Jacksonville defense start the season was dangerous and they were tricky, and that was something I'd always point out with Jacksonville. Ooh, their secondary is really good. They've got some really good linebackers. I don't know if I can say the same thing now about them. They're so injured, and the defense has gotten shredded in back-to-back weeks. Again, they look good in the first 3 quarters a couple days ago against Houston. You still lose. You give up 20 unanswered points defensively. And the week before, again, yes, your defense comes up with a huge stop on the 2-point conversion in overtime against the Raiders, but you were in a 30-29 game with the Las Vegas Raiders, who absolutely suck. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, that's what separates the good teams from the bad teams. Like, you have to win those games. You have to beat bad teams like the Raiders, but man, I don't think Jacksonville can beat the Chargers. The Chargers defense has been absurd. Again, look at the way that they got to Aaron Rodgers and made Rodgers' life, hell last week on Sunday Night Football. And I have a lot of confidence in Herbert in the offense. And unfortunately for the Jags, I'm starting to question again what Trevor Lawrence can do right now. Yeah, you have Jacoby Myers. You have committed to kind of winning the season. Brian Thomas might be back this week. Unfortunately, right now, I do not trust Trevor Lawrence. I want to trust Trevor Lawrence. Again, a lot of things went wrong for Jacksonville in the second half or in the fourth quarter against Houston. One of those things, unfortunately, was the quarterback play out of Trevor Lawrence. So I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers to win this football game. I think they win straight up. I think they can cover 2.5 as well. There's too many things going wrong currently for the Jaguars, and they are kind of just collapsing as the season is going on. It's going to be Chargers money line on the road to beat the Jaguars. Is also revenge for them from the 2022 postseason when they went on the road and blew that big lead. I think Herbert and the Chargers get it done on the road in Jacksonville. Next up, we go to the 1 o'clock games, and this is, I think, the biggest game of the week, other than potentially Sunday night. There's another big game in the AFC West, too. It's a lot of good games this week, but this one's massive, man. Los Angeles, California, Rams, Seahawks is the big one. How this is not America's game of the week and the Fox feature game, I don't know. But here we are. Seattle's now won 4 straight games. The offense looks unstoppable. Sam Darnold is looking incredible, taking on the Rams, whose offense also looks unstoppable. Guys, the Seahawks scored 44 points last week. The Los Angeles Rams scored 42. They both dominated their games against other NFC West teams. Los Angeles, in all fairness, a much more impressive victory on the road in San Francisco or Santa Clara against the Niners. Seahawks at home absolutely decimate the Arizona Cardinals. Yes, the Cardinals put some points on the board late in the game, but there was really no answers at all that the Cardinals had for Seattle in the first half. Again, Jacoby Brissett, fumble recoveries for touchdowns. It's Sam Darnold getting whatever he wants to Cooper Kupp and to Jackson Smith and Jigba. A dominant performance out of the Seattle Seahawks at home. Their wins, they've looked good. Their wins are Jacksonville, Houston, Washington, and Arizona, though. Last two games, again, a bad Cardinals team and a Washington team that can't stop anything defensively. So now here we go, Seahawks and Rams in LA. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. Two really good teams. I think the Rams are better, though. I think they are. And by the way, again, games in Los Angeles, but I do believe the Rams are slightly better than Seattle. Again, I want to buy into the Seahawks thing, but again, they've beaten 4 mediocre teams in their last 2 games where the offense has been, oh my goodness, best offense ever, back-to-back 38 and 44-point games. You're playing 2 of the worst defenses in the NFL. You've watched the Commanders' defense; they're atrocious. The Cardinals again made mistakes offensively, and just that entire team. I know they beat the Cowboys, but I guess anybody can beat the Cowboys right now, except for the Raiders. More on that later. But still, I think we need to really look at those games and see, okay, how actually they match up. The Rams, this team is great offensively against everybody. Stafford, again, I talked about it earlier, like the MVP race to me is 3 guys. It's Drake May, it's Matthew Stafford, it's Jonathan Taylor. I would actually give it to Jonathan Taylor, but I know, again, the NFL is not going to give it to a running back, so it should probably be Drake May, but Stafford is legitimately right there. Stafford currently leads the NFL in passing yards with 2,400, and he's already had the bye week. Stafford has the most touchdowns in the NFL, 25, and only 2 interceptions, and obviously it helps when you have Puka Nacua and you have Devontae Adams. Obviously Nacua, top 3 receiver in the National Football League, top 5, top 3, however you want to put it, and Devontae Adams obviously still very elite at this age. It makes the Rams dangerous. And that game against the Niners, man, every single time they touch the ball, they pick up first downs. They're getting ahead of the sticks with runs early in downs with Kyren Williams. They make big plays, obviously, with Puka Nacua, with Devontae Adams, with their tight end core as well. They are such a dominant team, man, offensively. And to me, right now, this team looks like the best team in the NFC. What happens once we get into the playoffs, I don't know. But their schedule's not that difficult. They have a Thursday night game later in the year in Seattle. They have a game against the Lions at home, and they have to play Tampa next week on Sunday night. It's not too far-fetched to say the Rams win 13 games this season. They probably will. I believe they're just better than Seattle. I know that Seattle crowd's going to be rowdy later in the season in December, but I don't think the Seahawks are ready for a game like this because, yeah, you've looked good against bad defenses. The Rams' defense is much better than the teams they've just played, and for as great as the Seahawks' offense has looked, I believe the Rams' offense is better. You have to score every single time you touch the ball against this team. I've seen the Seahawks in a shootout before this season against Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers at home in Seattle, and they lost it, okay? This comes down to, again, Darnold's been playing well. Who's the better quarterback that you trust in the clutch? Sam Darnold or Matthew Stafford? Answer that question. The answer is Matthew Stafford. Give me the Los Angeles Rams to beat the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going Rams to win, -3. They will cover as well. Give me Los Angeles. Next up, we go on to the other NFC West matchup. Ooh. Wow. What a game. The Arizona Cardinals take on the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco -2.5 is a great line. I absolutely love it. Again, more best bets later in the week. I can almost guarantee you this is going to be here. And I get it. We've been all over the 49ers all year long because I believe they're severely undervalued in every play. I don't love the latest report on Brock Purdy. Don't love it. In an interview, Kyle Shanahan was asked about Brock Purdy and if he's ever going to be 100% this year. And Shanahan essentially said, no, he's not. He's not going to be 100%. But it's how close can we get him to a 100% and how close can we get him to being a full participant in practice and then actually playing? Okay. So today, Shanahan also said that Purdy will be a limited but aggressive participant in Wednesday's practice with the intention of starting Sunday's game at Arizona. So it looks like they are going to go back to Brock. And, Pearsall might be back this week too. But I saw this coming. And as soon as Mac starts losing, that's when okay, we're going to bring Brock back. It's not like Mac is playing that bad. I get it, they lost. Okay, is it Mac Jones' fault they lost to the Rams? Not really. Defense got one stop the entire game. Juwan Jennings fumbles when they're down 14-0 at the beginning of the game, and that maybe shifts momentum a little bit. Mac Jones threw for 320 yards, and you're going to bench him for Brock Purdy, who has not played since week 4 in a game that they lost, by the way, to the Jaguars? I don't know. And I think, again, if they start losing, which I don't think they're going to lose the Cardinals, but if they start losing, there's going to be talk, okay, do we need to sit down Brock again for Mac? And also, they don't want the Cardinals to watch their quarterback next season. That's Mac Jones play this week. Because Mac Jones, I believe, will be starting in Arizona. Anyways, though, I don't care who's starting for the Niners. Again, I actually think I think Mac Jones gives them the best chance to win. They should beat the Cardinals here, and they should cover 2.5 points. We have seen this game already this year, and the Niners only won by 1 point in all fairness. I think, the Arizona is way worse than they were then. I get it. They just beat the Cowboys, and they play the Packers close. They play the Colts close. Okay, that whole, we're a team that plays close games. We cover the spread every week. That's over. Okay, that whole run is over now. After that big loss to Seattle, I think this is what also the Cardinals kind of want to. If they are still thinking future with Kyler Murray, they want Brissett to play bad. They want Kyler to come back at the end of the year. And honestly, regardless if they feel like they want to keep Kyler or not, if Brissett plays like crap here, you can bring Murray back. Week 15 against the Texans on the road if he plays well for the final 4 games, because he'll have some favorable matchups. They get to go to Cincinnati and play a bad defense. Trade value bumps up for Kyler. Either that goes well, or, okay, we bring back Kyler for 1 more year. I think they should go in the direction of trading him to a team like Miami, a team like the Jets, something like that, Saints. That's where I think Kyler should be next year. But we shall see. Maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't know. I think, again, that's going to be Flacco. But regardless of that, right, there's going to be, I think this team is going to get a lot worse the next couple of weeks. I think, teams have kind of figured out Brissett. I look at the Indianapolis game, the Green Bay game, the Dallas game. It's still okay. Brissett's playing way better than Kyler is. He's making all the throws. If you just pressure Brissett, the Cardinals are in trouble. Don't get me wrong. Trey McBride's the best tight end in football. It's insane what McBride does. He's phenomenal. The rest of the team is still lacking talent. Trey Benson, I still think, is not coming back yet this week. I think he's going to be back week 12 against Jacksonville. So it's still going to be DeMercado. Bam Knight's involved, but it's really Amari DeMercado's spot, which, whatever. I already dropped Bam Knight in fantasy. It's okay. I think the 49ers win this football game. Yes, the Niners just lost. They're not this bad. They're not losing the Cardinals. Okay, the Cardinals defense did not look great last week. Offensively, they made a lot of mistakes, and I get it. It's a banged-up 49ers team who has a very bad defense. Okay, just pressure Jacoby Brissett, get in his face, make him run a little bit, and you should be fine, okay? And we'll see what happens with Brock back. Christian McCaffrey obviously still playing phenomenal football. George Kittle looks like he's back as well. I like fully back. And Ricky Pearsall, again, might be returning this week as well. So I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers to win on the road in Arizona and cover 2.5 points as well. Next up, we move on to an AFC North matchup. Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens. Do I need to break anything down here? I don't know why this is at 125. I don't know why we needed a night game in Cleveland. Ticket prices are in the single digits for this game. So go to show, again, how bad the Browns are. If I was in Cleveland, I don't know why I'd be in Cleveland, but I would go just to watch Lamar Jackson. Anyways, the Browns suck. They're horrible. I don't know why they insist on playing Dylan Gabriel. Oh, he doesn't really throw interceptions. He doesn't throw the ball longer than 30 yards. I mean, when are they ever going to go to Shedeur Sanders? The answer to that question, and I've been saying it, is they're not going to. They're never going to go to Shedeur. They're waiting until Deshaun Watson comes back in a couple weeks, and then Watson's going to play to end the year. That's what they're going to do. I can almost guarantee you that. They're not going to let Shedeur start. They might let him start with Week 18. They might. They might let him start Week 18 in Cincy. I can see that. But probably not. They're going to keep him hostage on the bench, and they're going to, we don't want to trade him. We're just going to keep him as a second-string, third-string quarterback for the rest of his career, and then we're going to hope he fizzles out the NFL. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous stuff. At this point, why not give him a chance? Gabriel sucks. He's horrible. All those crappy balls he's throwing. Again, he has to wind up and really put a lot into throwing the ball 30-plus yards, which, I mean, there's high school quarterbacks who can throw 30 yards effortless. I don't know. And yeah, I'm being a little harsh on Gabriel, and I've said it before, I am hate watching Gabriel this year just because we all want to watch Shedeur Sanders. Dylan Gabriel's career high in passing yards is 220 yards in one game. Yeah, he started 5 games. He has not gone over 200 yards in any of them but one. Yikes. This team's awful. The Ravens are going to go into Cleveland. Guys, the Browns are going to score no more than 14 points. And the Ravens, I know, again, though, the Browns' defense is good. Yeah. I mean, how much support does that offense need? How much help does that offense need? Lamar looks good. I know, again, I think he missed practice today, knee soreness. John Harbaugh said he's going to be fine. They said he's okay. He's going to play this week. So if Lamar plays, the Ravens are just a rejuvenated bunch. And I get it. Oh, the Browns defense is good. Well, what happened the last time these two teams played? And the Browns actually had a quarterback last time Baltimore and Cleveland played. It was Joe Flacco. And the Ravens won the game 41-17. This should come to the surprise of absolutely nobody. I believe the Ravens are going to blow out the Cleveland Browns this week. And I don't think the game is close. Okay? They blew them out the first time around 41-17. They should absolutely be able to do it again. I have absolutely zero trust and zero faith in Dylan Gabriel. And I have no trust and faith in the Cleveland Browns actually thinking they're going to win football games this season. They've obviously gotten to a point where they don't think they're going to win, where they actually don't want to win, to the point where they're not even trying to make adjustments and trying to, let's see what we have in another quarterback. Guys, Dylan Gabriel's won one start in his NFL career. He beat the Miami Dolphins. He is a 1-4 NFL quarterback who's going to go to 1-5. And then you know what, guys? The Browns next week are going to go to Vegas and lose if they still start Dylan Gabriel. In all fairness, can any quarterback succeed in Cleveland? Probably not. But at some point in time, give Sanders a shot. Again, he's supposed to be a first-round pick. And now he can't start for the Cleveland Browns behind Dylan Gabriel? Oh, my goodness. I'm going to be taking the Cleveland Browns to lose and get blown out. Give me the Baltimore Ravens -8.5 here on the road in Cleveland. Next up, we go to the final afternoon game before Sunday and Monday Night Football. We go to Denver, Colorado for the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs. Give me Denver. Give me the Broncos. I know their offense has sucked. I get it. They are going to show up in a big game, believe you me. This is where they show up. This is where Bo Nix shows up. This is where Cortland Sutton has a big day. The offense gets going tonight against Kansas City. Or Sunday night. Sunday afternoon. Whatever. They get going now. Okay? This is the biggest game on the Broncos' schedule. Don't forget last season, when they played Kansas City, they played them extremely tight. They lost a game because they missed a game-winning field goal, and they won the last game of the year, although the Chiefs did not play their starters. But still, they went to Arrowhead last year and played the Chiefs extremely tight. They're going to beat them this time around. Guys, if the Broncos win this game, essentially what the Broncos do by winning this game, I believe they ensure they win the AFC West. Yes, the Chargers are involved too. The Chargers are going to be around. I guess, okay, they don't ensure that they win the AFC West. They ensure the Chiefs are not going to win the AFC West. You don't understand how big of a game this is for the Broncos. This is a huge game for the Chiefs too. I'd love this Denver defense. Absolutely. This is going to be a low-scoring, difficult football game. But Bo Nix is going to play better this week. Cortland Sutton is going to get more targets. And they are going to find ways to move the football against the Chiefs. I firmly believe that. I know, again, last week sucked for them. Thursday Night Football, they won. And a win is a win. That's all you can ask for in the NFL. But you beat the Raiders 10-7. The week before you went to Houston, won 18-15. The only thing that matters is getting wins in the win column. Hell, they beat the Jets early in the season 13-11. They're playing ugly, defensively minded football games. That's okay. They're going to force the Chiefs to play their game. The Chiefs will not put points on the board against this defense. And yeah, no Surtain still sucks, but that goes to show again how good the defense truly is when you have the best defensive player in the National Football League, and he's out, and you're still winning games. By the way, Surtain is questionable this week, so there is a chance he does play, and obviously that helps out the Broncos a ton too. Obviously, you know what the Chiefs have been doing recently. It is get the ball to Rashee Rice by any means necessary. Obviously, you know, Travis Kelce's still very involved in the offense too. The run game is just abysmal. I mean, Pacheco might play this week, but it's been a lot of Kareem Hunt, and then there's Brashard Smith too. I think the Broncos can win this football game. I think the Broncos are going to step up when it matters the most. Again, Sean Payton, I think, fully understands how big this game is and what this game does mean. I mean, seriously, you win this game and you snatch the crown away from the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, regardless of if that crown eventually goes to Denver or Los Angeles, I don't know. But the Chiefs lose this game. This is a 5-5 football team, a team that, again, will probably still make the playoffs, sure, because, I mean, look at that last wild card spot with Jacksonville. I have no confidence in the Jaguars maintaining that position. But you can bury this team right now. You got them exactly where you want. At home, your defense is phenomenal. You're shutting down. I mean, sure, you shut down the Raiders, and who cares about that? But still, like, your defense is elite right now. If you can just get Bo Nix playing slightly better, if you can just get that offense going, I believe they're going to beat Kansas City. I do think so. So we look at the spread again, 3 points, 3.5 points Denver's getting at home. I think that's a great line. I am very I want to take the money line here, though. I think plus 165 is absolutely fine here. I'm telling you, the defense is going to set the tone early, and it's not like they got to go to Arrowhead. They get this game in Denver with the chance to really put this Chiefs team away. I get it. These two teams will play again on Christmas in Kansas City, but there's a chance by that time, I mean, it's week 16, the division race is already over. So this is a game where, again, the Broncos can really take advantage. They need to actually execute and put this team away, because look what the Broncos have coming up. Like the Chargers, week 12 bye week, and then Washington and Vegas in back-to-back weeks. The Broncos are probably going to, if they can win this game, they're going to be an 11-2 football team. Do they beat Green Bay the way that things are going for the Packers? Yes, 12-2. Jacksonville, yes, 13-2. There's a chance they drop their next two, though, to the Chiefs and Chargers, but that puts them at 13-4. Obviously, the Chiefs can't get that record. Los Angeles probably can. But that's neither here or there. I believe the Broncos put away the Chiefs tonight, or on Sunday. Give me Broncos victory, plus 165, and covering 3.5 points as well. On to Sunday Night Football from Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We've got the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Detroit Lions. The matchup we should have gotten last year in the NFC Championship game, but obviously the Lions lost at home to Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. I am taking the Lions to go into Philly and win. The Eagles offense, I know they won in Green Bay, good on them. I don't think they have the firepower to keep up with the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions offense at its best, which we saw in the Washington game, is elite. That's what they can do. When Goff is throwing the ball like he can, when throwing for 320 yards, when Jahmyr Gibbs is playing the ability that he has, when Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams are both having monster efforts and monster days, the Lions can score 40 plus, and that's exactly what they did to Washington. The question you have to ask yourself this week is, can the Philadelphia Eagles keep up with Detroit? The answer to that question is no. It just, simply put, it's no. A 0-0 halftime score going into halftime again last week against the Packers. Eagles win, and that's all you can ask for in the National Football League. We just talked about it with the Broncos. It doesn't have to be pretty, but as long as you can get the victory, nobody really cares what the final score is. While that is true, it's a bad offensive night from the Eagles. Yes, they score. Again, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, 36-yard touchdown to put them up 10-0 and kind of ice the game. Now, I don't understand Sirianni's thought process. At the end of the game, Green Bay's got no timeouts. You're on the 40-yard line on a 4th and 6. I don't know why you go for it there. Punt them, pin them. They're not going 50 yards with no timeouts in 30 seconds. You gave Green Bay one last shot at it. And our obvious way, Packers offense isn't very good right now. Eagles defense is playing really good football. Philadelphia wins the game. But they cannot win this defensively minded game against the Detroit Lions. The offense will need to step up, and I just don't think they're ready for that. They almost lost in Tampa earlier in the season against a very good Buccaneers offense, but you know whose offense is better? And we've seen it throughout the course of the season, and who's actually at full strength offensively? It's the Detroit Lions. It's danger when you play this team. I mean, other than one game this season, Barkley has not been the biggest factor. Saquon against Green Bay, 22 carries for 60 yards. Jalen Hurts, 15 for 26, passing for 180 yards. Again, the offense is still not that good. And I get it, right? Detroit's defense may not be better than what Green Bay's got, but I do think we get a very good offensive effort out of the Detroit Lions on Sunday Night Football, and I think they're going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles here. I watch the Lions every single week. I believe in this team more than a lot of other offenses in the NFL. I don't think Jared Goff gets the credit he deserves. I look at last week, right? Gibbs running the ball 15 times. David Montgomery's running the ball 15 times. Combined, those guys put up over 200 yards. When you get Jameson Williams going, when you get Amon-Ra St. Brown doing what he can do, when Sam Laporta is playing like an elite tight end in football, because that's what he is, then obviously that creates for an elite quarterback in the National Football League, and that is one Jared Goff. And that's what Goff at his best, I'm telling you, is a top 5 quarterback in the sport. He's not making mistakes. He's, one of the most accurate passers in the league. And Detroit's defense, I know they were a little shaky last week early against Washington, but for the most part, they were fine. It's all dependent on how they can stop the run. Because I know, again, it's a back and forth thing every single week. What's Jalen Hurts' arm going to look like? What is the pass game going to look like for Philadelphia? If they can just shut that down, if they can just shut down the run game, Detroit's going to be perfectly fine. I think, again, we talked about last week too, right? Lions have had these games circled. This was supposed to be their 2-game stretch going into the Super Bowl last year. Washington, Philadelphia. Now, given both those games were supposed to be at Ford Field, they get them both on the road this time. This is their little revenge run, and they're going to make right of it here. They're going to go into Philly and beat the Eagles. Keep your points. I'm taking Detroit Lions money line plus 120 in Philadelphia to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. The Lions, in my opinion, still are the best team in the National Football League, and they will show it this week. On to Monday Night Football. Woo! The Dallas Cowboys take on the Las Vegas Raiders. You know what? I hope we get this at Dallas minus 2.5. If we get this at Dallas minus 2.5, I absolutely love it. Minus 3.5, I think it's playable. I don't like it as much. They will beat the Raiders, guys. They will beat the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders don't have anything on Dallas. I know, again, the Dallas defense was horrible last week on Monday Night Football, or 2 weeks ago on Monday Night Football, where they got burned by Jacoby Brissett and the Arizona Cardinals. I understand that. They'll be fine this time around. The Raiders can't do that to them. And I get it. Oh, they scored on the Jags, and yeah, they get shut down defensively by the Broncos. It's supposed to happen. I get that. Dallas, I know Dallas' defense sucks. The Dallas defense sucks. The Raiders' defense sucks too. This game, I mean, ultimately, it's a football game. Ultimately, it comes down to who can score the most points, but legitimately, who can outscore the other here? That's Dallas. Game's on the road in Vegas, but this shouldn't really matter for the Cowboys. I'm telling you, this is the first time the Cowboys have been in Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. I think. I could be wrong. I think so. You know how well their fans travel. You know how many fans they have. They've never been to Vegas before. They are going to flood Allegiant Stadium. Absolutely, they are going to flood that place. It is going to feel like a Dallas Cowboys home game on Monday night in Las Vegas. Same environment, too, for Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. You know, you're playing in a dome, controlled environment. It's not Jerry's World, but it's going to feel like it. The Cowboys are going to dominate this game. Absolutely. It's going to be a Cowboys home game. That crowd, whenever Dak does something great or CeeDee Lamb or whatnot, or the defense makes a big play, that crowd is going to erupt. Because I'm telling you, it is going to be a majority Dallas Cowboys fan base or crowd in Las Vegas this week. And the Raiders are horrible. Yes, the Dallas Cowboys defense sucks. I still have somewhat of faith in the offense. I know they did not play well last week against the Cardinals, but you're coming off a bye week. You should be refocused going into this game against the Raiders, who are, in all fairness, coming off the mini bye after losing the Denver game and now this. But again, this Raiders team's not good. Geno Smith is not a starting quarterback in the National Football League. Who I do think might have a big game today is Tyler Lockett. We'll say that. I think Lockett might be big. But regardless, I believe this is a Cowboys victory and an easy Cowboys victory. I don't expect any defense to be really played by the Cowboys. I get that. I'm telling you, though, Geno's going to get in his own way in this game. Like, Geno is going to mess this up. Even with a piss-poor defense, one of the worst defenses in the NFL. It's the Cowboys and the Bengals, worst defenses in football. I'm telling you, Geno's going to find a way to screw this up. He can't stay out of his own way in terms of playing abilities. Again, I don't think Geno's a National Football League quarterback right now, a starting NFL quarterback. And in all fairness to Geno, too, the O-line's absolutely horrible. If the Cowboys send pressure, this is going to be danger. And the Vegas defense, I know they held Bo Nix to 10 points last week. I know what the Cowboys can do. I know what the Cowboys can do with Dak, with CeeDee, with George Pickens, with Jake Ferguson, with Javonte Williams at the backfield. They can score. And also, don't forget, too, they have the best kicker of all time in Brandon Aubrey. Where if you get the ball to midfield, now all of a sudden you're in field goal range, right? I like the Cowboys in this game. I think they're going to beat the Las Vegas Raiders, and I think they're going to do it quite easily. I hope the line does go from 3.5 to 2.5 or even 3, because I will feel better about it. But, I mean, on paper, right, the Raiders should not be that close in this one, because I know if the Cowboys are going to do anything, that's score points. I know what kills the Cowboys every single week is that their defense can't get stops for the offense. I think that's going to be a little different this week just because of how bad the Raiders are. So I think we're going to be perfectly fine here with Dallas Cowboys spread. I think 3.5 is playable. Again, I love it a lot more if it's 3 or 2.5. Again, we'll just play it how it appears on late Sunday night and early Monday morning. So let's go Cowboys to get the victory. Minus 3.5, minus 3, minus 2.5. Give me the Cowboys to get it done in their first ever game at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas against the Raiders. Folks, that'll do it for our Week 11 NFL predictions here on the channel. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back later in the week again for our best bets for money line spreads and player props again, both of which are coming out on Saturday. And make sure to join us next week. We should have this back in the normal time slot next week on Tuesday again for Week 12 NFL predictions. Folks, thank y'all for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. And Mamba forever.